9.3, Putting it together. Steps to complete your introduction. Once you've captured your audience's attention, it's important to make the rest of your introduction interesting and to use it to lay out the rest of the speech. In this section, we're going to explore the 5 remaining parts of an effective introduction: linking your topic, reasons to listen, stating credibility, thesis statement, and preview. Link to topic. After the attention getter, the second major part of an introduction is called the link to topic. The link to topic is the shortest part of an introduction and occurs when a speaker demonstrates how an attention-getting device relates to the topic of a speech. Often, the attention getter and the link to topic are very clear. For example, if you look at the attention-getting device example under historical reference above, you'll see that the first sentence brings up the history of the Vietnam War, and then shows us how that war can help us understand the Iraq War. In this case, the attention getter clearly flows directly to the topic. However, some attention getters need further explanation to get to the topic of the speech. For example, both the anecdote examples, that girl falling into the manhole while texting, and the boy in the filberts, need further explanation to connect clearly to the speech topic, the problem of multitasking in today's society. Let's look at the first anecdote example to demonstrate how we could go from the attention getter to the topic. In July 2009, a high school girl named Alexa Longuira was walking along a main boulevard near her home on Staten Island, New York, typing a message on her cell phone. Not paying attention to the world around her, she took a step and fell right into an open manhole. This anecdote illustrates the problem that many people are facing in today's world. We are so wired into our technology that we forget to see what's going on around us, like a big hole in front of us. In this example, the third sentence here explains that the attention getter was an anecdote that illustrates a real issue. The fourth sentence illustrates the actual topic of the speech. Now let's examine how we can make the transition from the parable or fable attention getter to the topic. The ancient Greek writer Aesop told a fable about a boy who put his hand into a pitcher of filberts. The boy grabbed as many of the delicious nuts as he possibly could, but when he tried to pull them out, his hand wouldn't fit through the neck of the pitcher because he was grasping so many filberts. Instead of dropping some of them so that his hand would fit, he burst into tears and cried about his predicament. The moral of the story? Don't try to do too much at once. In today's world, many of us are just like the boy putting his hand into the pitcher. We are constantly trying to grab so much or do so much that it prevents us from accomplishing our goals. I would like to show you 3 simple techniques to manage your time so that you don't try to pull too many filberts from your pitcher. In this example, we added 3 new sentences to the attention getter to connect it to the speech topic. Reasons to listen. Once you have linked an attention getter to the topic of your speech, you need to explain to your audience why your topic is so important. We call this the why should I care part of your speech because it tells your audience why the topic is directly important to them. Sometimes you can include the significance of your topic in the same sentence as your link to the topic, but other times you may need to spell it out in 1 or 2 sentences why your specific topic is important. People in today's world are very busy, and they do not like their time wasted. Nothing is worse than having to sit through a speech that has nothing to do with you. Imagine sitting through a speech about a new software package you don't own and you will never hear of again. How would you react to the speaker? Most of us would be pretty annoyed at having had our time wasted in this way. Obviously, this particular speaker didn't do a good job of analyzing his or her audience if the audience isn't going to use the software package. But even when speaking on a topic that is highly relevant to the audience, speakers often totally forget to explain how and why it is important. Appearing credible. The next part of a speech is not so much the specific part as an important characteristic that needs to be pervasive throughout your introduction and your entire speech. As a speaker, you want to be seen as credible, competent, trustworthy, and caring or having goodwill. As mentioned earlier in this chapter, credibility is ultimately a perception that is made by your audience. While your audience determines whether they perceive you as competent, trustworthy, and caring, there are some strategies you can employ to make yourself appear more credible. First, to make yourself appear competent, you can either clearly explain to your audience why you are competent about a given subject, or demonstrate your competence by showing that you have thoroughly researched a topic by including relevant references within your introduction. The first method of demonstrating competence, saying it directly, is only effective if you are actually a competent person on a given subject. If you are an undergraduate student and you're delivering a speech about the importance of string theory in physics, unless you're a prodigy of some kind, you're probably not a recognized expert on the subject. Conversely, if your number one hobby in life is collecting memorabilia about the Three Stooges, then you may be an expert about the Three Stooges. However, you would need to explain to your audience your passion for collecting Three Stooges memorabilia and how this has made you an expert on the topic. If, on the other hand, you are not actually a recognized expert on a topic, you need to demonstrate that you have done your homework to become more knowledgeable than your audience about your topic. The easiest way to demonstrate your competence is through the use of appropriate references from leading thinkers and researchers on your topic. When you demonstrate to your audience that you have done your homework, they are more likely to view you as competent. The second characteristic of credibility, trustworthiness, is a little more complicated than competence, for it ultimately relies on audience perceptions. One way to increase the likelihood that a speaker will be perceived as trustworthy is to use reputable sources. If you are quoting Dr. John Smith, you need to explain who Dr. John Smith is, so your audience will see the quotation as being more trustworthy. As speakers, we can easily manipulate our sources into appearing more credible than they actually are, which would be unethical. When you are honest about your sources with your audience, they will trust you and your information more so than when you are ambiguous. The worst thing you can do is to out and out lie about information during your speech. Not only is lying highly unethical, but if you're caught lying, your audience will deem you untrustworthy and perceive everything you are saying as untrustworthy. Many speakers have attempted to lie to an audience because it will serve their own purposes, or even because they believe their message is in their audience's best interest. But lying is one of the fastest ways to turn off an audience and get them to distrust both the speaker and the message. The third characteristic of credibility to establish during the introduction is the sense of caring or goodwill. While some unethical speakers can attempt to manipulate an audience's perception that the speaker cares, ethical speakers do truly care about their audiences and have their audience's best interest in mind while speaking. Often, speakers must speak in front of audiences that may be hostile toward the speaker's message. In these cases, it is very important for the speaker to explain that he or she really does believe her or his message is in the audience's best interest. One way to show that you have your audience's best interests in mind is to acknowledge disagreement from the start. Today, I'm going to talk about why I believe we should enforce stricter immigration laws in the United States. I realize that many of you will disagree with me on this topic. I used to believe that open immigration was a necessity for the United States to survive and thrive. But after researching this topic, I've changed my mind. While I may not change all of your minds today, I do ask that you listen with an open mind, set your personal feelings on this topic aside, and judge my arguments based on their merits. While clearly not all audience members will be open or receptive to opening their minds and listening to your arguments, by establishing that there is a known disagreement, you're telling the audience that you understand their possible views and are not trying to attack their intellect or their opinions. Thesis statement. A thesis statement is a short declarative sentence that states the purpose, intent, or main idea of a speech. A strong, clear thesis statement is very valuable within an introduction because it lays out the basic goal of the entire speech. We strongly believe that it is worthwhile to invest some time in framing and writing a good thesis statement. You may even want to write your thesis statement before you even begin conducting your research for your speech. While you may end up rewriting your thesis statement later, having a clear idea of your purpose, intent, or main idea before you start searching for research will help you focus on the most appropriate material. To help us understand these thesis statements, We will first explore their basic functions and then discuss how to write a thesis statement. Basic functions of a thesis statement. A thesis statement helps your audience by letting them know, in a nutshell, what you're going to talk about. With a good thesis statement, you will fulfill 4 basic functions. You will express your specific purpose, provide a way to organize your main points, make your research more effective, and enhance your delivery. Express your specific purpose. To orient your audience, you need to be as clear as possible about your meaning. A strong thesis will prepare your audience effectively for the points that follow. Here are 2 examples. 1. Today I want to discuss academic cheating. That's a weak example. 2. Today I will clarify exactly what plagiarism is and give examples of its different types so that you can see how it leads to a loss of creative learning interaction. That's a strong example. The weak statement will probably give the impression that you have no clear position about your topic because you haven't said what that position is. Additionally, the term academic cheating can refer to many behaviors: acquiring test questions ahead of time, copying answers, changing grades, or allowing others to do your coursework. So the specific topic of the speech is still not clear to the audience. The strong statement not only specifies plagiarism, but also states your specific concern, the loss of creative learning interaction. Provide a way to organize your main points. A thesis statement should appear almost verbatim toward the end of the introduction to a speech. A thesis statement helps the audience get ready to listen to the arrangement of points that follow. Many speakers say that if they can create a strong thesis statement, the rest of the speech tends to develop with relative ease. On the other hand, when the thesis statement is not very clear, creating a speech is an uphill battle. When your thesis statement is sufficiently clear and decisive, you will know where you stand about your topic and where you intend to go with your speech. Having a clear thesis statement is especially important if you know a great deal about your topic, or if you have strong feelings about it. If this is the case for you, you need to know exactly what you are planning on talking about in order to fit within the specified time limitations. Knowing where you are and where you're going is the entire point in establishing a thesis statement. It makes your speech much easier to prepare and present. Let's say you have a fairly strong thesis statement and that you've already brainstormed a list of information that you know about the topic. Chances are your list is too long and has no focus. Using your thesis statement, you can select only the information that is directly related to the thesis and can be arranged in a sequence that will make sense to the audience and will support the thesis. In essence, a strong thesis statement helps you keep useful information and weed out less useful information.